Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your afternoon with me. My name is Kim. This is my yoga studio in Point Pleasant Beach. So here we are. Thank you. Today we're going to focus a little bit more on flexibility and balance. So let's start on our backs today. So lying on our backs, just allow yourself to float down onto the earth. You can open up your feet, bring the soles of your feet together in Supta Baddha Konasana if that feels okay in the hips, and this will just help to guide your hips open right away. Open up your palms in a receiving manner. Start to pull the shoulders underneath your heart, so making a little bit of a shelf for your heart. And just start to scan your body for a moment. All right, just noticing anything that you're holding on to in any area of your body, even before we start to deepen the breath. So we really start to tune into the physical, what's tangible, what we can feel, and then we'll start to drop it inward. And the most important part of our practice is just to really trust in your body's wisdom. Know that your body knows exactly what it needs, whether it's to pull back in a pose or to challenge yourself and go a little bit deeper, integrate a little bit more. And that's what really makes this an all levels practice, because you can take a simple posture and make it complex. So let's start to drop it inward. I invite you once again to set an intention for your practice. Always a word. I use the same thing. So I am a body of perfect health. My mind and my body are in perfect health. Right? And then I just continue to repeat that through the struggles. Take a few deep breaths on your own. Just filling the lungs, beautiful life. And then emptying the lungs, going back past empty. Maybe even retaining the breath in between the inhalation and exhalation. It's really important for us to take these moments of stillness to find presence, to ground down, and just for a moment to be still. Just take a few more cycles of breath. Just noticing that waving action, belly, ribs, chest. Allowing everything to deflate. On your next inhale breath, reach your arms all the way up and overhead. And then bring your knees into your chest, wrap your arms around your shins, give yourself a little bit of a hug, open up your arms. We're gonna press the palms down into the earth. So you're gonna find this kind of internal rotation of the shoulders. Right away, we're gonna activate that shoulder girdle. So we're gonna warm up the shoulders in this position. Tabletop with the legs, press your heels towards the top of your space. Inhale, making sure that the whole entire spine is imprinted on the earth. Exhale over to the left. Just hover the knees above the earth. Inhale back to center, and then exhale over to the right. So we're just gonna move from side to side. Inhale, really hard flex your toes. Exhale, so moving at your own pace, just remembering to connect your breath. Always finding that audible, rhythmic breath. Back to center, over to the right. Come back to center, over to the left. And when you come to the left this time, just let your knees rest. You're gonna find a little bit of a different feeling in that right shoulder because our palms are not up. So if you feel like it's a little bit too aggressive on that shoulder joint, then you can always open the palms up. Finding a nice kind of twist through the torso. Come back to center. Let's take those tick-tocks from side to side once again. Right. Inhale and exhale. Inhale, really massaging the paraspinal muscles. So those muscles that travel down the spine. And then over to the right, rest the knees, stacking them on top of each other. Really trying to press down into that whole left arm from the palm, tricep, all the way up, feeling the twisting action through your torso. Coming back to center, hard flex your toes. Release the soles of your feet down onto the ground. Take your right leg, take it figure 4 over the left. We're gonna come into full pigeon at a certain portion of our practice. Reclining pigeon, pull the left knee into your chest, wrap your hands around that shin, maybe the back of the thigh. Just really trying to pull the knee in as close to the chest or to the ribs as you can without lifting up that tailbone. So the spine is imprinted into the earth. With each breath, so we want to grow into our shape. So really directing the breath, maybe even to that outer glute. So this is more of like a piriformis release, that outer glute. And then release the left foot down onto the ground. Lift your hips up, drop your knee into this figure 4 kind of bridge pose. Just pause here for a moment. Once again, scan your body. Where are you feeling tension? Where do you need to direct the breath? And then slowly start to release. Take the right leg, extend it all the way up to the sky, and we're just gonna flex and point the toe a few times. Walk the hands all the way up, grab a hold of your ankle, maybe the top of the foot, bring your knee in towards your nose. And right, we're just gonna feel a nice release through that whole hamstring. Chin is in chest. Release the right foot down. Make sure there's a space between your toes and your heels, relax down. Left leg extends up, figure 4. Right knee, immediately pull it right into your chest. And then find your grip. Clasp your fingers. Remembering to breathe deeply, direct the breath. Even if you close your eyes and you use your imagination that you're kind of sending that breath like a power washer right into that space. That needs cleansing, clearing. Maybe there's a little cobwebs. Maybe it hasn't seen the light of day, right? Those hips. And that's okay, right? That's why we're here today. Really hugging that knee into the chest. Release the right foot down. Lift your hips up, palms by your side. And just try and drop that knee down towards the ground. Finding a little bit more space. Lower the hips, left leg extends up towards the sky. Walk the hands or all the way up to that ankle, maybe top of the foot, flex your toe, point your toe. So you're gonna notice when you flex your toe, you're really kind of stretching the Achilles all the way through the hamstring. And when you point, it's really the front of the leg, the knee, and the quad, right? So kind of flex and point, and then bring the knee in towards your nose. Just hang out here for a second. No rush. That's what today's class is going to be about. No rush. Release that left foot down. Both hips lift up towards the sky or just coming into bridge pose, getting a nice release in the low back. And then release vertebrae by vertebrae, knees into chest. Let's take a few rocks, 3 to be exact. Or if you'd like to go more, that's okay. Once again, we're detoxing that spine, the kidneys, and then cross at your shins or your ankles, sitting up nice and tall in Sukhasana, hands into prayer position. And then chin to chest, repeat your intention. And I encourage you to use and repeat that intention throughout your practice. And come back to center. Let's take a nice, beautiful twist. Take your right hand behind you like a second spine. Left hand grabs a hold of the right thigh. And then just twist. Just like we did lying on our backs. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper, which I'm feeling a little bit more depth in our twist today, extend the legs, take your right knee or your right foot, stack it over, and then come back to that second spine, left elbow outside of the right thigh. So we're keeping with that theme of piriformis, which is our glute. You should feel a nice stretch, a nice release. Plug into the whole palm. So notice the webbing in between your fingers. It's kind of nice to just notice these parts of the body that we kind of don't really pay attention to, right? Dismay. Let's take one more deep inhale breath. And full exhale, twist it out. Take a counter twist. Maybe we'll take this into our balancer today from here, our grasshopper, and then come back to center. So if you'd like to cross at the ankles again, or just kind of come with me in this nice twist, going a little bit deeper. Left foot stacks over the right, left hand behind you like a second spine, and then sweep your right arm up towards the sky, taking a nice gentle twist. Hand in prayer position. Finding that depth of breath. Always remembering that in the exhalation on any type of a really deep twist is most important. So really find that you release all of the air, all of the toxins that are kind of accumulated in the lungs, in the belly, in all of the organs. Imagine that we're just wringing them out. Yeah, we're using our imagination today. Let's come back to center, extend that left foot. Let's just take a nice fold while we're here. Why not? Inhale the arms to the sky, gaze up. And then on your exhale, reach your chin towards your shin. Grab hold of those toes and then melt yourself down right in the midline. Trying not to dome out the back, maybe even a little pulsing. It might feel good as you kind of acclimate yourself to start our practice, I think. You have the tops of the feet. You can wrap your hands around those soles of the feet. Give your feet a little massage. A lot of nerves in the toes. Roll yourself up, cross at your ankles, come into your tabletop position. And from your tabletop position, we're just gonna curl the toes, sink your hips back, but keep your chest lifted. Okay, walk your hands a little bit closer to the top of your mat. So the chest is nice and proud, belly is on the thigh, toes are curled, and then find just this melting action. Elbows are lifted. Pull yourself all the way through, shoulders come over the knuckles, drop your hips. We're gonna do that a few times. Press back into that child's pose, but very active in child's pose. Take a deep breath. Exhale, pull yourself through, shoulders over fingers, drop your hips in this cobra action. This is really gonna help to open up those hips right away. Press back, take a deep breath, inhale. Really drag yourself all the way through, ripple forward and drop your hips. Keep a micro bend in the elbows, one more time like that. Active child's pose, deep breath. Pull yourself, ripple yourself all the way through, drop your hips. Keep a bend in the elbows. And then take that child's pose once again, and then lift your hips up towards the sky. So immediately lifting your hips, coming into your downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Pedal out your feet. So this is gonna be just a little bit more of a warm up for that back body. We did a little stretch, a little work on flexibility. Walk your feet all the way up to the top of your mat. Little space between your toes and your heels. Let's decompress our spine, bend your knees, grab a hold of your elbows, a little tick-tock from side to side. You should be feeling a little bit more space in the backs of the legs, backs of the ankles. And then release your hands by your side. Slowly, mindfully roll up one vertebrae at a time, creating little tiny pockets of space. And we're just finding a little buoyancy. So just kind of shimmy forward and back, just to ground down into all four corners of your feet in mountain pose. Palms are forward. Find a focal point. And then throughout our practice, always remembering to manage our thoughts. What is priority, right? Prioritize your thoughts. On your inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky, gaze up, and then exhale, moving through heart center. Let it go into your forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, half lift, belly to thigh, plant your hands, left leg steps back. Drop your knee, top of your foot. We're gonna sit back into half split, walk the hands back just a little bit, and then start to straighten through the right leg. And let's move a little bit. Bend into runner's lunge, sit back, hard flex. Press, bend the knee, sit back, and then slowly start to lift the arms up towards the sky as you bend into your knee, Anjaneyasana. Relax that left hip down towards the ground, knees over ankle. Really strong base. Release your hands to frame the foot, curl the toe, extend through that back heel. Slide the right foot back into your first plank pose, top of a push-up. We're gonna be here just for a moment, engage your quads. So we always wanna think of this active body. The only muscles that we want to keep soft are the facial muscles. So always remembering to unlock your jaw. Inhale to shift forward. On your exhale, drop to your knees, lower to your chest and your chin. Pause here, 8 points of contact on the earth. And then just slide your belly, peel yourself up into cobra pose, sit back, child's pose. Curl the toes, lift the hips, downward facing dog once again. Organic movement, pedal out the feet, and then walk your dog all the way up to the top of your space. Bend your knees, close the gap between your belly and your thighs. You can grab opposite elbows once again, just coming back. Release your arms by your side, roll up one vertebrae at a time. Mountain pose, inhale, sweep your arms to the sky. Urdhva Hastasana, and then exhale, just moving gently into your forward fold. Ride the wave of your exhalation. Inhale, hands to shins, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, send your right leg to the back of your mat. Shimmy those toes all the way back, drop your knee, top of your foot. And then walk the hands as you start to straighten through that left leg. Flex your toes. Ardha Hanuman, half split. Bend into that left knee, look forward, open your heart. Exhale, sit all the way back. Let's do 2 more like that, trying to go a little bit deeper each round. Inhale. You can even just kind of let the fingers hover. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let's come into that Anjaneyasana. So crescent lunge, sweep your arms all the way up to the sky, spiral your pinkies in. Allow the hips to settle simultaneously down towards the earth. Feeling this heavy weight kind of pulling you magnetically down. Release the hands to frame the foot, curl the toes, step back, plank pose. Once again, protract your shoulders. Drive your heels towards the back of your mat. Quads are engaged, low core is contracted. Inhale, shift forward. Drop to your knees, lower chest, chin. Slide your belly on the earth. Peel yourself up into cobra pose. Child's pose, curl your toes. Downward facing dog. And maybe you pedal out your feet just a little bit. Let's work on some Surya Namaskar B. Okay. Come high onto the balls of your feet, bend your knees. Gaze forward. So imagine that you're on a springboard. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Reverse swan dive. Reach all the way out and up. Utkatasana, chair pose. Sink low. Pull your glutes in as you tuck your pelvis up towards your belly button. We're going to be here for a little bit. So it's okay if your knees are connected. Just try not to squeeze the knees together. All right, maybe a little pulsing. Root down, rise up, arms by your side, mountain pose. Interlace your fingers. Take your palms down by your sacrum. Open your heart and your chest. Let's just take a little bit of a back bend. And then meet me back into that chair pose, Utkatasana. Arms rise, gaze up. Sink your hips. Readjust your pelvis. Stay connected with your breath. All the weight shifts into the heels. Fold it all the way through, Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back, maybe fingertips. Just stay on the earth. Exhale, fold it all the way through. Step your left foot to the back of your mat. Step your right foot back. Inhale, shift forward. Exhale, chaturanga. Pull your heart skyward. Really awakening the low back. Exhale, roll over those toes, downward facing dog. Right leg extends up towards the sky, split in your mind's eye. Exhale, knee to nose. Gently step your right foot to your right thumb. Ground through your back heel, knees over ankle. Rise up to warrior one. 3 deep breaths. So if you want to integrate your practice a little bit more, right? You've been in warrior one a million times. Toe heel the front leg a little bit closer to the top of your mat, and then drive through that right knee. 1 more breath. Inhale. On your exhale, release the hands, curl the toes, step back, downward facing dog. Ripple forward into plank pose. Chaturanga, elbows into ribs. Peel your heart all the way up to the sky. Exhale, downward facing dog. Just take a moment to find a bit of stillness in your down dog. Inhale the left leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to nose. Gently step the left foot to your left thumb. Ground through your back heel, rise up to warrior one. Spiral the pinkies in towards each other. Find that integration. 3 breaths. So your goal in warrior 1 is to square off the hips. So the right hip is pulling forward, the left hip is pulling back. Contract your belly. Spine is tall. Take a deep breath. Downward facing dog. So meet in that full exhalation should bring you through down dog. Inhale, ride the wave, plank pose. Exhale, chaturanga. Heart pulls all the way up and through, upward dog. Cobra pose if you need to, downward facing dog. Remember not to hyperextend your elbows. Yes, we want to magnetically press the belly towards the thighs, but without compromising the joints of the shoulders. So maybe just pull back just a little bit. Good. Come high on the balls of your feet. Option of bringing the big toes to touch. Push your belly to your thigh, bend your knees, gaze forward, step, hop, or float. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold it all the way through. Bend your knees, reverse swan dive, root down, rise up, Utkatasana chair pose. Well, let's add on, because I'm feeling these twists just kind of come into my mind. Hands in prayer position, right? So it just comes to me. Left elbow outside of the right thigh. Once again, keeping those hips nice and neutral. Plug into the palms, thumbs to your sternum. Pull the right hip forward. If you feel that your knees are not connected, just make your adjustments, right? So we can get the full benefit of this twist. We're gonna be here for 5. Firm up the palms, actively press into each other. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna rise up, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Inhale, exhale, mountain pose. Once again, interlace your fingers, palms down by your sacrum, open your heart in your chest. Utkatasana chair pose, arms rise. Fold it all the way through. Inhale to a flat back, exhale, plant your hands. Option of stepping back into plank, or maybe you're ready to float yourself through chaturanga. Moving with purpose, on purpose, dragging your heart through and then taking downward facing dog. Oh, that's a hair. It's been bothering me. All right, guys, here we go. Inhale the right leg to the sky. Let's add on. Exhale, knee to nose. Gently step your right foot to your right thumb. Ground through your back heel. Warrior 1. So let's put this all, to solidify all of this. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Take your palms down by your sacrum, just like we did in our Utkatasana. Pull the tips of the shoulders away from the midline and then fold it all the way through. We're gonna do 3 like that. Rise up, that was 1, inhale. And exhale, float the belly over the thigh. Relax your gaze. Inhale, humble warrior. So option of resting the right shoulder onto the right knee, or just letting the head float inside of that right foot. Try not to lose the integrity, I know, of that left hip. I'm thinking 5 count is what's calling to me today. We're almost there. Rise up, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Hands into prayer position. We're gonna launch into warrior 3. So even if that means sliding the toes forward, left leg lifts, flex the toes or point the toes, like whatever, right, is accessible to you or whatever feels good with no resistance. Keep pointing those toes, breathing in and out. Remembering this is a balance. We have to work on building our balance, contract the low belly, that will help. Slowly bend into that right knee, bring the left knee into your chest, figure 4 chair. We're adding on, it's all making sense. Hard and flex those toes. Relax your shoulders. So Utkatasana, but we're taking a figure 4. Root down, rise up, release into mountain pose. Inhale, sweep your arms to the sky. Exhale, Utkatasana chair pose, hands in prayer, right elbow outside of the left thigh. Make your adjustments, right? Take the first few breaths, or the first breath or 2, to make the adjustment so that now you can settle into your shape and you're not, right, fussing around. Allow the momentum of your breath to dissolve any tension that we may be holding on to anywhere in the body. Maybe it's in the mind. Maybe the blockages is really in the mind. I am a body of perfect health. Good, root down, rise up, arms rise by your side. Mountain pose, inhale, sweep your arms to the sky. Let's just dive it all the way through. That should feel really nice and open. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, bend your knees, jump, step, hop, and float. Move through your vinyasa. Take your time, whatever space you need to hold in, retain, reside, whatever it is, downward facing dog. It's all about just that evolution each time we step on the mat. Not better, not worse. It's a little different. On your next inhale, the left leg lifts. Knee to nose, left foot to left thumb. Ground through your back heel, rise up, warrior one. And then interlace your fingers, palms down, maybe opposite thumb on top so that the non-dominant, it's gonna feel a little bit more awkward. Good. And then let's just take those little floating, moving, humble. Inhale and exhale, tap. Inhale, rise up, open the heart and the chest. Exhale. Last one, inhale and exhale. Coming into our humble eagle, whatever that looks like or feels like, right? Sometimes we come onto our mats, we have this idea of what the pose is supposed to look like, but more importantly, how does it feel in your body? One more breath, full cycle. Rise up, reach your arms all the way up to the sky. Hands into prayer position. We're just gonna launch into that, right? Warrior three. Really squeeze your glutes and your low abdomen. That will help keep you balanced because we all need the help closing off the ribs. So if we're just kind of hanging out here, we're probably gonna be a little bit wobbly. Almost there. Keep breathing. Let's bring that right knee into your chest, figure four chair. Hard flex the toes. Find a focal point. Find a drishti that's not causing distractions. 3, 2, 1, mountain pose. Arms by your side. Inhale, reach your arms all the way up to the sky, gaze up. Exhale, fold it all the way through, dive forward. Inhale to a flat back, exhale, plant your hands, step, hop, float, moving gracefully, or maybe not gracefully. Downward facing dog. The right leg extends up towards the sky, and then gently step your right foot in between your hands. We're gonna turn all 10 toes towards the left side of your mat. We're gonna take Trikonasana. Hands onto your hips. Shift the weight into the toes. Just hang out here for a second. And then roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. Turn the right toes towards the top of your mat. Good. So we're keeping the hips neutral. Right toes turn, keeping the left hip pulling back, open the arms up. So open up your wingspan. And then we're just gonna kind of pivot. Pivot always reminds me of friends, right? We're gonna push the hips away as we start to reach forward. So it's an active, right, counterbalance. Keep the shoulders back and away. So this pose, you want your heart really exposed. And then when you feel like you can't go anymore without losing the integrity of the left rib, left arm reaches up. Maybe your bicep is in line with your ear. So if you're noticing the ribs pulling down, right, it's not about how far we get to the earth. It's really more about the open heart, right? Releasing. So keep those fingers hovered. Use a book that helps you. Extended side angle pose. We're gonna be here for 5 breaths. Anything that you may be working on, maybe you have bound triangle, right? So you just kind of take that bind to keep that heart open as it should always be. Good. And then if you took that bind, come out of it. Let's take a reverse Trikonasana just so we can get that lateral flexion, not collapsing into that left, like just finding a lateral flexion. Come back to center. Turn the right toes Open your arms, fold it all the way through. Prasarita Padottanasana. Good, shift the weight into the toes, any variation that you have with the arms. Maybe you grab a hold of the big toes, or you take a beautiful headstand if that's in your practice from this position. And if you're choosing to just allow this to be your inversion, notice how you feel with all the blood flushing, rushing to your face. Right? How does it make you feel? And then coming back to center, inhale, lift your heart, lift your gaze, exhale, fold. Start to frame out the right foot. So walk the hands, pivot onto the back toe. Good. Drop your knee, top of your foot, sit all the way back into half split. Here's where we're working maybe full split. Okay, so if you are working towards full split, walk that left foot back, walk that front foot forward, right? And you can maybe place a block underneath that right thigh, more by your groin, right? Try not to get it underneath the knee. And you can always use anything that will lift up the earth to you. And we're just gonna reside here. Maybe floating the belly over the thigh. Take this opportunity to really scan the body. When we bring our attention to what we're trying to open up, right? The mind and the body are so dynamically interconnected. We have this innate ability to be able to really heal ourselves if we just understand that connection truly. Let's take 5 more breaths wherever you are. Split, half split. Maybe you're not doing split at all. Whatever pose that you chose to come into. And then we're just gonna slowly, let's take 2 more breaths. I feel like this pose really needs to be a little bit more restorative. You're gonna feel so flexy when you leave here today. Let's come all the way back out of this pose. We're bending in, we're coming into that Anjaneyasana. Reach your arms up towards the sky. Spiral your pinkies in towards each other. We're gonna take a beautiful heart opener. Release the hands to frame the foot, curl the toe, lift that back knee. Now you're gonna step your right foot up and over into a flip dog, wild thing. So here we go, knee into chest, slowly rotate over and let's come all the way up. Open that heart, so important. And then we're gonna kick that right leg all the way up to the sky. Take a deep breath, inhale. Right toes behind left wrist. The final part of this little flow here, shimmy those back toes. So do not just drop into it. I cannot encourage you enough, right? If you're here, you're stuck. If you shimmy and just like a pulley, allow that left foot to, or left knee to release, oh, you're gonna get so much more benefits. And now if you feel yourself shifting to the right, place a little bit of a dish towel, a shirt underneath, and that will help to keep you kind of stable. Or twist it out, right hand reaches, left arm comes underneath. Find a little twist here. Once again, we're gonna find that stillness, a lot of work on this side. We won't be here as long. We wanna at least find 5 breaths. So this is the moment where you need to manage your thoughts, right? I always say prioritize. The other day I said upgrade your thoughts. I feel like it is important for us to, not just in our evolution or to evolve in our practice, in our life, in our, right? At this very moment, what are the things we should be thinking about? How grateful we are, how we have our breath, our body, how we're moving it so freely. Good, let's walk the hands back underneath. Okay, I'm done with my rant. Curl the toes, lift the knee, step back, downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forward. Exhale, chaturanga, pull your heart all the way up and through, downward facing dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let's take a little hop through, generate a little more heat. Big toes touch, come high in the balls of your feet, bend your knees, gaze forward, step, hop, or float. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold it all the way through. Bend your knees, reverse swan dive, reach all the way out and up, and then just dive forward. Uttanasana. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands, bend your knees, jump through your chaturanga. Maybe you're feeling a little tired and you just want to step back, and that is awesome. Downward facing dog. Maybe shake out your head just a little bit. Inhale the left leg to the sky. Big giant step through, all 10 toes towards the right side of your space. Hands to hips, shift the weight into the toes. Let your head be heavy, and then roll yourself up one vertebra at a time. Left toes, hips are nice and squared, tearing your left toes to the top of your space. Good. Open up your arms. Start to reach that left hand forward, keeping the right hip in line, right shoulder, keep reaching, and then left hand comes down inside of that thigh. Right arm either peels up and overhead. If you're noticing that you're having a little bit of trouble, you're struggling with the ribs, I don't know why I would said that 3 times, a little stutter, with the ribs, right? Take the right hand behind the small of your back. And then this will help to cascade that shoulder. You can always use the left shin as a kickstand. Using the breath as a barometer to where you are. Maybe you need to go a little deeper, take a bind. Inner thighs really isometrically pulling in towards each other. Coming back to Trikonasana wherever you are. Reverse, right hand slides down. Good, let's come back to center. Left toes turn out, fold it all the way through. So finding that Prasarita once again, wherever you are, wherever you want to go, wherever you need to be, as long as you're right here on your mat. And then let's slowly start to frame out that left foot. Pivot onto the back toes, drop your knee, top of your foot. Ardha Hanumanasana, which is our split. So whether you're taking full split, half split, we've warmed up the body enough. So I think in order for us to get into a certain pose, you really have to choose the warm up properly, right? Warmed up the hamstrings, the outer glutes. Remembering that one side of the body is always a little bit more spacious and open, so really be grateful for that. Ujjayi breath is just that victorious breath. Clearing away the cobwebs. Imagine that you can really see that to be true, that you're just sweeping it, cleaning it up. And take 2 more breaths. And then when you're ready, we're going to slowly, mindfully come out of this. We're going to come up into that Anjaneyasana, so that crescent lunge. And then frame out that left foot. Curl the toes, lift the knee. We're stepping into that wild thing. So bring the knee into the chest. Slowly rotate over to the knife edge of your right foot and step that left foot. Staying on the ball mount of your feet, open your heart and your chest. Left hand releases left leg all the way up to the sky. Inhale. And then exhale, left toes behind the right wrist. Shimmy that back foot all the way back as you just gently float that right knee down, right in alignment. And then either coming into that twist, so left hand reaches. So we're almost ready for our back bend portion of our practice. Maybe you like to take an inversion, a headstand, handstand. Practice your headstand with your head against your couch. Been doing that. Let's take another full cycle of breath. And then coming back up, unbinding, unwinding, curl the back toe, lift the knee, downward facing dog. Inhale, ripple forward, chaturanga. Peel your heart all the way up to the sky, downward facing dog. From here, drop your knees for a second, making sure the knees and the knees, toes, and hips are in one plane. Shoulders above the wrist. Let's just take a little bit of a cat-cow. So inhale, we're gonna need to stretch through our diaphragm in order for us to come into this back bend. So arch your spine, lift your gaze, round and curl, press the earth, actively press the earth away. Let's take 3 more like that. Inhale. Carve out your chest. Exhale, pull the navel in and up. Inhale. And exhale. Back to neutral. We're gonna take a puppy pose and just to prepare our body for our back bend. Elbows release down to the ground. Walk the hands forward and then drop your chest, keeping the toes and the knees in one line. If you'd like to go a little bit deeper in this puppy pose, so the most important part is that we're really contracting the low abdomen. Palms into prayer position, thumbs to the nape of your neck. And this is just gonna help melt your heart down towards the ground. Deep breaths. Breathing in and out of the nose. This is one of the best ways for us to eliminate waste. Our body's natural filtration system. Right there. And it's free. Don't do a juice cleanse or colonics. Breathe. Release your hands. Good. So if you had it in that tabletop, and then just look in between your thumbs, just drop your hips down. We're taking this Sphinx pose. Elbow to hip, hip to elbow. One of my favorite back bends is Dhanurasana, bow pose. Maybe it's not your favorite, so lower yourself all the way down to the ground. If you do not prefer dancer pose, then just come into Salambhasana, which means your palms are facing up. You're reaching your fingers back towards the back of your mat, and you're just lifting up. If you'd like to join me in Dhanurasana, bend your knees, bring your knees together, grab a hold of the tops of your feet. Good. And then on your inhale, we open up, lift your knees, press your heels into your palms, and then we're actually trying to pull the heels in towards your glutes. So this counterbalance is going to give us that great release through the front of the quads. And then find your pubic bone for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly release. Tick-tock your hips from side to side. I know, tick-tock. I don't know why I'm using that phrase. Toes from side to side. And we're gonna sit back into our child's pose. So option of bringing the soles of the feet together, palms underneath your shoulders. Knees are open wide, sit your hips all the way back into this wide child's pose. And now scan your body once again. I'm gonna offer rabbit pose to you. So press into your palms, bring your knees together. And if you know that there's something that you would like to practice besides rabbit pose, beautiful. Okay, it's what's your practice. Knees are together. We're gonna lower the belly over the thighs. Rest your head, a big chunk of our stress hormone, center of your third eye, right in between your eyebrows. So move it around into that pineal gland right away, and then reach for your heels. Lift your hips, start to tuck the chin into the chest. Chin into chest, crown of the head. Keep lifting those hips. A little bit more shallow breathing, right? Because the chin is in the chest. Close your eyes. And slowly release. Slowly roll yourself up. We're gonna come right onto our back, so just release onto your bum. Good. Lower yourself all the way down to the ground. Bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a hug. And we're gonna come into wind removing pose for a moment, then we're gonna go into little switches, which I really like to do at the end of practice. So the left leg extends, release it to the earth, right knee into your chest, up and around the rib cage. Grab a hold of your shin. Maybe take some circles with the ankle. And then we're just gonna switch it out. So left knee comes in, up and around the rib cage. Guide that knee in. And then we're gonna just take a few switches. We're gonna do that same thing. We're just gonna switch from side to side. Really tugging the knee in to the chest. If you wanna go a little bit deeper, working upper abdomen, core, lift your chest. And then just kind of move, pressing your low back into the mat. Moving from side to side. Maybe going a little bit deeper. And release both knees into your chest. Let's take the knees over to the left, our final little twist. You can take an eagle wrap or extend that top leg, grab a hold of the pinky edge of your foot. If you have that connection with the left hand to the right foot, maybe taking the right hand, grabbing a hold of the top of the left foot. A little bit more of a interesting, fun twist. And then let's come back to center. Knees to the right, same thing. Choose where you want to go. And to breathe in, expanding the belly and the ribs and the chest. And then deflating everything back to its natural state. Come back to center. Give ourselves a hug. Take the legs up to the sky. One of the best ways to drain out your lymphatic system would be this pose right here. There are several. This is one of the best ways to do it. And then release the legs down, whether in Supta Baddha Konasana, a little bit more of an arch in your back, a little bit more release in your hips. Now, how do you feel from when you started your practice today? Do you feel a little bit more peaceful? Do you feel a little more energized? Open up your arms in a receiving manner and repeat your intention. And the most important thing to remember when trying to manifest what you want in your life, and I really have been trying to do all this self-study, self-discipline, and the most important part of receiving is to be grateful for what you already have. So if we're trying to manifest from a space of lack or desperation, we will never, ever receive what it is that we want. And that doesn't mean that abundance and wealth are not your divine right. They absolutely are, but we have to be grateful for what we already have. Thank you so much for sharing your time and your energy with me. It is my honor to step onto the mat and guide you and hopefully share some enlightenment, whatever that means. So, hands in prayer to your third eye, your intuition and knowledge. Thank yourself for showing up. Thank you. Namaste. Namaste.